Welcome to a series on my channel called Forge Review. Most of my time playing Halo MCC nowadays is on the custom game browser, the place where people go to play on their custom game modes, forge maps, and mods. I think this is the best place for a Halo fan to be because of its limitless replay value. If a particular piece of work gets popular enough, I will make a YouTube video discussing it. I will talk about what sparked my interest in the creation and the things I like about it. However, I will also talk about the problems I have with it, but I won't just talk about those problems. I will take it upon myself to address them, to end up with what I believe to be an improved version of the game mode. I will then make this improved version accessible for you, the viewer, to play on. Today, we are talking about Air Wars. Air Wars is a custom game mode where opposing teams fight almost exclusively in aerial combat. This usually takes place in the form of either assault or capture the flag. Both teams get a mix of Banshees and Falcons to battle it out in the sky. Armor abilities have infinite usage, so players can also equip the jetpack loadout and instead use that to fly their way to combat. Infantry are given several anti-air weapons to choose from. Each team is given a main base that commonly uses vehicle turrets as air defense systems. I really like the premise of this custom game. It gives me a warm reminder of space battles in Star Wars Battlefront 2. A Halo take on that game mode was a very natural idea to come up with that I'm sure we all love to see. Reach has more aerial vehicles than any other Halo title. Because of that, along with its strong modding community, I think Reach is the best suited Halo release for this game type. I like how the infinite jetpack gives you an infantry option to approach the round. Normally, I don't like limitless armor abilities, but it works here. Air Wars was just about the only thing I was playing on the custom game browser for quite a while because of how much fun I was having. But over time, I began to start noticing issues that eventually started aggravating me. Let's go back to Halo 3. In Halo 3, we had a choice between the Hornet and the Banshee for aerial combat. The Hornet was definitely more powerful than the Banshee with its missiles and machine guns. However, the Banshee is much faster and can do agile maneuvers to get you out of trouble. It was a trade. Both vehicles had traits over the other that made it superior in varying situations. What's the trade in Halo Reach where the Hornet is replaced with the Falcon? This UNSC air vehicle flies just as fast as the Banshee, so that's not what separates them. As a matter of fact, the Banshee boost has a time limit this time around, making it even worse than the Falcon in this area. Instead, Falcons have machine gun turrets equipped to each of its sides for other players to mount, while the pilot cannot shoot themselves. Each turret can only shoot at targets on its side. If you can get a player on both turrets, you'll have much more damage potential than the Banshee, and if skilled enough, can probably take on multiple at the same time. The trade-off in Reach is that you need to commit several players to the Falcon to reach its full potential, while only needing to commit a single player to the Banshee. Would you rather have 3 players in one Falcon or 3 players in 3 Banshees? That can be a difficult decision to make. This dilemma would create for a very fun and balanced experience. However, the maps created for Air Wars use the nose gun variant of the Falcon, the version made for the new Alexandria mission in the campaign. And I believe this is a huge problem. Air Wars attempts to treat these nose gun Falcons equally to the Banshee, but they are on a much higher performance level. This nose gun allows the pilot to shoot by themselves from a much farther distance away and deal way more damage than the side turrets can. I almost never have success 1v1ing a nose gun Falcon with a Banshee. It is so much stronger without any meaningful drawbacks because it wasn't made with multiplayer in mind. Air Wars becomes over-centralizing around the nose gun Falcon, which contributes to another issue. These maps are massive. So much space in Forge World is used up that it creates an overwhelmingly long-distance combat zone that Halo Reach just wasn't designed for. Many weapons and vehicles that are supposed to function as anti-air heavily struggle to see any meaningful viability. I'm talking about weapons and vehicles that have a lock-on feature. Rocket launchers, fuel rod shade turrets, plasma launchers, rocket hogs, even the Banshee bomb. The combat zone is so large with so much space to dodge that these tools can't stay locked onto their target. The over-centralization of the nosegun Falcon makes this so much worse, because it can very safely shoot from outside the lock-on range of these weapons. At least the regular Falcon has a large spread on the turrets that forces the fight to closer ranges. The only way to reliably take out a nosegun Falcon without using one yourself is with the instantaneous high damage options. The Goshawk, Scorpion, Spartan Laser, and Sniper Rifle, because for some reason Bungie decided to make that an anti-vehicle weapon in this game. I believe this centralized meta wastes the potential the game mode has, so I went ahead and did something about it. If there are going to be nosegun or grenadier Falcons on these maps, they must be implemented sparingly, few and far between, the same way you treat a power weapon. I went into Forge, deleted every single nosegun Falcon I saw, and replaced it with either a regular or transport Falcon. On some maps, I added a small number of these stronger Falcons and gave them much longer respawn times. I also redesigned weapon spawns and loadouts to accommodate for this new meta. Those changes alone fix most of the game mode's problems, so that's all I'm committing to in the short term so I can justify getting this video out. But in the long term, I think there is so much more potential to expand on this game type. Somebody made a mod for the Council's Hand game type that adds flyable spirits to the game. This new air vehicle is fittingly used as a mobile respawn point. I think Air Wars could really use a mod like this, along with a Pelican equivalent. I would also like there to be some smaller Air Wars maps, similar to the size and balance of, say, Spire, Boneyard, and Ridgeline. Still large maps for Halo standards, but not so large that it trivializes weapons and vehicles. The type of environments that Halo Reach was meant to be played in. However, making something like that by myself would mean dedicating months of my life that, given my other projects on this channel, simply don't have time for. If there are any forgers trying to get their name out, please reach out before starting any new Air Wars projects. One last thing about Sabres and Seraphs. You would think that, given my take on nosegun Falcons, that I would be absolutely livid at the thought of adding these bad boys to the game mode. However, just like the nosegun Falcons, I think if they are implemented sparingly, with few and far between, they might make for a good addition on some maps. Say the maps where it really does need to be long range. Maybe just one in a contestable location, or maybe one for each team. I think it's worth at least giving a try. If you, the viewer, would like to play on my rebalanced version of Air Wars, I am going to be starting a custom game to playtest it. Subscribe to the channel to get notified when that happens.